Stop walking if you're 60, 80 years old. Do these 6 things instead. You've covered a lot of ground in your life. Decades of steps, of movement, of motion. Not just on sidewalks or staircases, but through choices, changes, and challenges. You've walked through love, loss, growth, and stillness. And now, here you are, somewhere between 60 and 80, maybe noticing that walking, the very thing that once came so naturally, is no longer effortless. Maybe your knees speak up more than they used to. Maybe balance feels a little different. Or maybe, for one reason or another, you've found yourself moving less. Now here's the thing no one says loudly enough. Slowing down isn't the same as stopping. Slowing down doesn't mean life gives up on you, or that you give up on it. In fact, this stage of life, it might just be the richest yet. But only if you give yourself permission to see it that way. This isn't about sitting still and watching the world move on without you. It's about shifting the way you move, live, and engage with everything around you. So many people get stuck on what they used to be able to do. But let me tell you something. Nostalgia is sweet, but it can trap you. You are still here. You are still becoming. And while walking less may be part of your reality now, it doesn't have to define your vitality, your purpose, or your joy. You've earned the right to rewrite the rules, to say, I don't need to move fast. I just need to move meaningfully. You've spent decades being strong for everyone else. Maybe it's time to be strong in a different way, with wisdom instead of muscle, with presence instead of pace. There's a whole world of movement still available to you. Even if your legs aren't taking you as far as they used to. There are things you can do that will nourish your body, awaken your spirit, and remind you that this chapter, this one right here, can be one of the most powerful of all. So let's talk about what comes next. Let's explore 6 deeply meaningful, doable, and soul-satisfying things you can start doing, not just to replace walking, but to rediscover what it means to feel alive. Because this isn't the end of the road. It's a new path entirely, and I'm walking it with you. Ready? Let's begin. Number 1, reconnect with gentle rhythms. Movement without the miles. Let's start with something simple but powerful, the rhythm of your own body. Now I know you've probably been told that movement needs to be intense to be effective. That unless you're sweating, straining, or speed walking through the neighborhood, it doesn't count. But let's toss that thinking out the window for a moment. Movement doesn't need to be loud in its impact. It doesn't need to be fast to be meaningful. In fact, when walking becomes more difficult, the answer isn't to stop moving. It's to move differently. Gentle movement, done with intention and consistency, can bring incredible benefits. Think about stretching, Tai Chi, or even chair yoga. These forms don't just work your body, they work with your body. They help with balance, flexibility, and circulation. Yes, but more importantly, they reconnect you to yourself. Every slow breath, every deliberate motion reminds you, I'm still here, I'm still strong. There's something beautiful about the slowness. When you slow down, you start to hear things you missed before. The creak of your joints may still be there, sure, but so is the soft strength in your spine, the calm in your breath, and the feeling of being present in your own skin again. It's not about trying to be who you were 20 years ago. It's about honoring who you are right now. Gentle rhythm brings back control in a world that often moves too fast. A few minutes a day is all it takes to feel like you're participating in your life again, not just watching it go by. You don't need a gym membership or fancy gear. You just need your willingness. A soft floor, a quiet space, a bit of time carved out for you. That's the new kind of strength we're building here. Not for show, but for staying power, for dignity, for independence, for joy. Number 2, create more than you consume. Make something that outlasts you. Let's shift gears now from body to soul, from movement to making. If you're finding yourself moving less these days, maybe life is handing you something new, time. And what you do with that time can be your greatest legacy. We live in a world that wants us to consume all day long. Watch this, scroll that, buy this, listen to that. But you know what? There's something more fulfilling than watching or scrolling, and that's create. Maybe you've always wanted to paint, but never did. Maybe you used to write poetry in your 20s and haven't picked up a pen since. Maybe you've got stories locked inside your memory, family tales, personal journeys, lessons learned the hard way, and they're just waiting to be shared. Creation isn't about talent, it's about expression. It's about taking the richness of your lived experience and turning it into something that lives on beyond you, a drawing for your granddaughter, a short story inspired by your childhood, a recorded audio of your life lessons, even a handmade birdhouse or a family recipe passed down with care. These things matter. They last, and the act of creating, of choosing to make rather than just take, lights a fire inside. It gives your days a sense of shape, your mind a spark of challenge, and your heart a quiet satisfaction. Because now you're not just spending time, you're investing it. Your hands may not move as fast as they used to. That's okay. Let them move with meaning instead. Every brushstroke, every page, every stitch or hammer or photo, it becomes part of your legacy. Not just what you did, but who you were. So if you're walking less, maybe it's because you're meant to be building more. Building memories, art, reflections, and moments that matter. Create something that outlives you, something your future generations can touch, read or hear, and say, that was my grandmother, that was my grandfather, that was them. You've got something inside you that the world still needs to see, and it starts with one small act of creation. Number 3, mentor. Teach, share. Be the wisdom you once needed. There's something no one tells you when you get older. Your presence, your insight, your voice might just be more valuable now than it's ever been. You've lived through decades of change, through chapters that others are only just beginning. And while the world often celebrates youth, what it truly needs is wisdom. And that wisdom, it lives in you. You see, you don't have to walk far to make an impact. You don't have to run marathons or chase trends. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is sit with someone and speak the truth. The kind of truth you had to learn the hard way. The kind you wish someone had told you when you were younger. Mentorship doesn't require a classroom or a stage. It happens in the living room, over coffee, during phone calls with your grandchildren, or chats with a neighbor's teenager. It's in the small comments, the shared stories, the quiet encouragement that says, I've been there and you're gonna be okay. Maybe you never saw yourself as a teacher, but trust me, you already are. Just by living, by learning, by surviving, you've become a living library of resilience. And now is your time to open those doors to others. There are younger people all around you who are hungry for guidance. They may not always ask for it outright, but they are watching, listening, searching. You can be the compass they never knew they needed. You can be the one who helps them see a little clearer, choose a little wiser, live a little fuller. And mentoring doesn't have to be formal. It can be as simple as writing a letter to your younger self and sharing it with someone who's struggling, volunteering at a local school or church, helping a young parent in your family with advice only years of living can teach. This is about turning your years into seeds, planting them in places that will bloom long after you're gone. When your feet aren't taking you as far, let your words travel instead. Let your presence carry the weight, because sometimes the most powerful way to move forward is to lift someone else as they begin. Number 4, tend to the inner garden, reflection, faith, and mindfulness. Now let's go even deeper, not into the world around you, but the world within you. Because while walking less might limit your physical path, it also offers a beautiful opportunity, the chance to finally explore your inner life without rushing. This isn't just about stillness, it's about soulfulness. You've spent a lifetime doing for others, showing up, keeping busy. Maybe you've put your own spiritual or emotional needs on the back burner. But now you have the space to tend to what's been quietly waiting inside you all along. Reflection, faith, and mindfulness aren't just for monks on mountaintops. They're for you, right here, right now. Whether you find peace through prayer, meditation, quiet journaling, or simply sitting outside listening to the breeze, that space you create within yourself can be the most healing place of all. This inner garden of yours, it's where peace grows, where understanding blooms, where forgiveness, grace, and purpose take root. And tending to it isn't just comforting, it's empowering, because the world may grow louder, faster, and more chaotic, but you can choose to grow quieter, deeper, wiser. You don't need to walk for miles to find meaning. Sometimes closing your eyes, breathing deeply, and returning to the present moment is the most meaningful journey of all. This is also a time to return to your faith, whatever that looks like for you, whether it's reconnecting with old spiritual practices or discovering new ones. Nurturing that relationship between you and something greater can bring immense peace. It reminds you that you're not alone, not forgotten, not finished. Let this be your season of spiritual strength, the kind that doesn't show in muscles, but in grace. In your ability to sit with silence and still feel whole. In your choice to wake up and say, "Today I will be still, and I will still be." Because sometimes the most powerful journeys are the ones that take place without moving at all. Number 5, strengthen bonds. Reach out and build bridges. There's a quiet truth about growing older that people don't always talk about. It can feel lonely sometimes. Friends move away. Loved ones pass on. Families grow up and get busy. And slowly the house gets quieter. The phone rings less often, and the days stretch a little longer than they used to. But here's the powerful part. Connection doesn't have an expiration date. It's never too late to strengthen bonds or build new ones. In fact, at this stage of life, your relationships can become even richer, because now they're based on presence rather than performance. No pretending, no pressure, just real connection. Human connection is a kind of medicine. It lifts the spirit, softens the heart, and even strengthens the immune system. And you don't need a huge crowd around you to feel it. 1 or 2 meaningful relationships can be more nourishing than a room full of small talk. Start with who's already in your life. Call the old friend you've lost touch with. Chances are, they've been thinking of you too. Invite a neighbor over for coffee. Text your grandchild, even if it's just an emoji. Join a small group at a community center, a book club, a senior group, or a volunteer team. Don't wait for people to come to you. Be brave, be the one who reaches out. And if your circle feels small or even empty, then build a new one. It's not too late, not by a long shot. Sometimes the most surprising friendships come from the most unexpected places. You never know who's waiting to be seen, just like you are. This is your time to reconnect, to mend old wounds, to forgive and be forgiven, to share laughter again, and to remember what it feels like to be known. Life isn't meant to be lived alone. We're wired for connection, for stories shared, hands held, hearts understood. So if walking less has left you more still, use that stillness to reach across the spaces between you and others. Because when you strengthen your bonds, you don't just feel less alone, you help someone else feel less alone too. And that kind of love, that's what keeps the soul walking long after the legs stop. Number 6, embrace technology as a tool, not a threat. Now, let's talk about something that might make you a little hesitant at first. Technology. I know, The digital world can feel overwhelming, even frustrating, and it's tempting to say, "That's not for me," or "I've lived just fine without it this long." But let me gently offer a different way to look at it. Technology isn't about replacing the old ways. It's about expanding your world in new ways. If walking less has you spending more time at home, technology can be the bridge that keeps you connected, curious, and engaged. It's not about becoming a tech wizard. It's about picking and choosing the tools that make life richer. Video calls let you see your family's faces, not just hear their voices. Audiobooks let you enjoy stories without straining your eyes. Online courses open the door to learning new things: history, art, cooking, languages, all from your living room. You can join communities based on your hobbies or beliefs, find support groups, or even start your own blog or YouTube channel to share your story. And guess what? You don't have to figure it all out alone. Ask a grandchild, a neighbor, a library assistant. They'll help, and most of them will love the chance to teach you something. You'll be surprised how quickly it becomes second nature. The truth is, curiosity keeps you young. It keeps your mind flexible and your spirit awake. Embracing technology doesn't mean giving up who you are. It means adding more colors to your palette, more tools to your box, more doors to your world. This is your invitation to explore again, to try, to learn, to laugh when it doesn't work and cheer when it does. You've lived through typewriters, dial-up phones, black and white TV, and you adapted then. You can adapt now. So if your feet aren't taking you out into the world like they used to, let technology bring the world to you. Let it help you stay connected, inspired, and full of life. Because this journey, it's not over. And with the right tools, it's only just beginning. Conclusion. This chapter is yours to write. So here we are. We've walked slowly, intentionally, through 6 powerful shifts you can make when walking itself becomes harder. Not because you're giving up, but because you're growing differently now. And let me tell you something that may just surprise you. This might be your most important chapter yet. This stage of life. It's not the end of the story. It's the part where the meaning deepens, where the noise of youth quiets down, and in the stillness, you begin to hear your own wisdom more clearly. The world may not see your strength the same way it used to, but you know better. You know the kind of strength it takes to keep loving after loss, to keep showing up after setbacks, to keep living, even when your body tells you to slow down. You've earned the right to rest without guilt, to move differently, to do less of what drains you and more of what fills you. You've earned the joy of creating, the honor of mentoring, the peace of reflection, and the freedom to learn new things just because you want. Let's be clear. This isn't about pretending everything is perfect. Aging has its aches, its griefs, its adjustments. But you are not fading. You are transforming. And transformation is not a loss. It's an invitation to see yourself with fresh eyes, to engage with life in a softer, deeper way. You don't have to chase what was. Instead, you can embrace what is. And in doing so, discover that there is still so much life left to live, so many moments to savor, so many stories to share, so many quiet revolutions to start. Not by running faster, but by standing stronger in who you are right now. So whether you begin today by stretching gently in your living room, writing down a memory, picking up the phone to reconnect with someone, or learning one small thing online, you are moving forward. You are choosing life. You are still becoming. This is your time, not to push harder, but to live wiser, to lead with your heart, to offer your presence as a gift, to yourself and to others, because you've walked long enough to know the path doesn't end when the steps slow down. Sometimes that's when the journey truly begins.